Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to my thesis presentation. It's not easy to be the person to start today schedule, but I will try my best. So as you can see, my topic is the current situations and future perspectives of applying corporate responsibility in Finland and in several cases. So a little bit about my content. I will start with introduction, then theoretical framework, research methodology, then case companies, current situations, and future perspectives of applying CR in Finland, and finally the conclusions. So as we know nowadays, when we live in a very modern world, when every day more and more technologies are invented, people more and more they focus and they monitor the company's activities. So a lot of accusations and blames have been made. For example, they said that companies, they just trying to make profits. They don't care about the interests of other people, of the societies. So that's very bad for risk management for the companies. So the companies, they have to come up with something to protect themselves against the blames and the accusations. And appearing as the most appealing and interesting and useful method is corporate responsibility. So maybe you can read somewhere, you can hear some places about CSR or corporate social responsibilities, or maybe sustainability, good citizenship. But in my thesis, I use this concept, this term, corporate responsibility, and from now on, I will say in the term of CR. And CR has been used widely all over the world, but my research problem is what are the current situations and the future perspectives of applying CR in Finnish business environment. From that research problem, I came up with several research objectives and research questions to be able to answer and to solve the research problem. Let's start with a little bit theories about CR. And first of all, I would like to say a little bit, a very short history about the development of CR. CR is a very new concept, officially born in the 50s of the last century. At that time, in the 50s of last century, there are a lot of important writer, authors, and contributors, such as William Frederick and especially Howard Bowen. Howard Bowen was called the father of CR because he is the person who coined the term CR at the first time. During the 60s, 70s of last century, a lot of theories have been made and have been written. But at that period of time, everything is just the talks. They were talking too much, but they didn't put on the theories into the real activities for the company and the business. So it's like more talk than activities. But however, nowadays, more and more companies, they use CR in their activities, and it becomes very famous nowadays, very popular, trendy. There are a lot of definitions about CR out there because it leads to the fact that every people, they see CR differently and different purposes of using CR in their companies. But within my thesis, I made my own definition about CR that I used for my thesis. CR is the owned activities, performances, initiatives to which the company is expected to commit, so that the company can contribute not only for their own interests, but also to the benefits of the society to which that company belongs. So I think that's easy enough to understand for a thesis. According to Carroll in 1979, CR included 4 layers: economical, legal, ethical, and philanthropic responsibility. But again, in my thesis, I come up with different aspects for CR in my thesis that based on those aspects, I will evaluate and analyze the activities from the case companies. business case for CR. So, okay, so now we have a lot of theories about CR, and we have a lot of CR activities, but is that CR really benefit and profitable for the companies? So a lot of business practitioners and theorists and authors, they try to find the benefits, the real benefits in real life of CR to the company. So that's called business case for CR. And on contrary, critics against CR, a lot of them, but mainly they focus on the conflict between the purposes of doing business and the CR activities. The critics, they focus on that the company, when they are doing CR, they forget the main purposes of doing business, that making profit back to the shareholders. So something like the companies, they forgot to make profits, and they just doing to make to apply CR to be more competitive and famous. But yeah, that's everything about my theories. You can take a look more if you like in my thesis. Research methodology. This is the workiest slide in my presentation. But the most important thing in my research method, I used quality method and more exact, the in-depth interviews with some case companies. The scope of my thesis is corporate responsibility in Finland business environment among Finnish enterprises. The limitations for my thesis, because it is just a bachelor thesis, and also the capability of the researcher, me, is limited. So I guess that's a limitation for the thesis. Also, the difficulties in researching on the field of CR is also a limitation for my thesis. Because it's very new, so there are not really many theories, and also it's a very sensitive topic. So the case company, I just go very quickly through the cases. The first one is Alma Media Corporation. Alma Media Corporation is famous for their publications such as Iltalehti, Aamulehti, Kauppalehti, and Eduovi.fi. Second one is Finnair Group. So Finnair is the flag carrier of Finland, and 55.8% of the stock is owned by the government. Finnvera, in the other hand, is 100% state-owned. They are the export credit agency of Finland. Metso Corporation and UPM, they are from the heavy industry, like paper, energy, automation, construction. They are very global because they have operations all over the world, but they originate from Finland. The current situation, as I found out here, that some very high keywords here integrated, highly ranked, essential, used as risk management method. And as Mrs. Virve-Tulenheimo from Finnvera said, we believe that all we do is CR. So that's a little bit extreme, but that's how the companies think about CR. Strategy for CR activities. Again, I found a lot of activities, so they have a strategy cover a wide range of activity. But because nowadays we focus and we think more about environment, so companies, they focus on environmental aspects. And at Metso and UPM, the CR strategy is actually integrated into the general strategies for the company, because they want to integrate the CR into the daily business, not something separate, but within the whole business of their companies. CR activities. The first aspect is social responsibility. At Metso and UPM, they have the code of conduct. And at Finnvera, they have ethical guidelines. So those are the documents that all the employees of those organizations, they have to follow in their everyday activities for all the behaviors of the employees. So it's like something very core of the company. Ethical employer and community involvement are something contrasting. If while ethical employer, is the thing that companies, they try to be ethical. They want to care about more about their employees, their staffs. So community involvement is the move of the company that they try to be more responsible for the societies that they belong to. One thing very interesting from Metso that I found out is the whistleblower channel. This is a channel that the employees of Metso, they can submit or they send information about some bad or devil plans or activities within Metso Corporation, so that the Metso board of directors, they can investigate the case and give some punishment if needed. For environmental responsibility at Alma Media, they conducted several researches. They built new buildings. Those buildings are more environmentally friendly. At Finnair, they have the cooperations with Finnish Nature Conservative Organization, SLL, and also they're reducing emissions through efficient flights and renewing their flights. So they believe that the new airplanes will produce less emissions. At Finnvera, they have indirectly effects towards the environment, because the Finnvera, they don't produce the real product. They just want to make sure that through the project in other countries, that those projects wouldn't harm or have negative effects on the environment. So before they give some loans or money, they have to make sure that those projects is friendly to the environment. And at Metso and UPM also, they want to reducing emissions. Also in Metso, they try to control the whole supply chain. So the whole supply chain from the purchasing to recycling, there's nothing harmful for the environment. And because UPM, they are focused on paper industry, so they want to do something to conserve the forest. So they have some very big, very huge campaigns like the Sustainable Forestry and Biodiversity Project. So the results of those activities, first of all, about economic responsibility, I found out that all the case companies, they made profits, they fulfilled their tax duties, and also they bring the money back to the shareholders. So slightly consideration, we can see that all the case companies, they fulfill their economic responsibility to a certain extent. The social responsibility results, the gender equalities is something. For example, at Alma Media, the differences in payment between male and female employees is reducing, so that's more equal. And healthcare and safety at work is something belong to ethical employer. At Finnvera, they have financing supports for areas of approach structural change. Those are the areas in Finland that the economic situation is going down. So Finnvera, they give money and financial support for those areas so that they can increase the economic situation again. And community involvement or sponsorships, like the activities of Metso in Brazil and UPM Foundation in Uruguay. They building school, they support the local people, they training the young people, and then they hiring them into their companies or other companies, so they support the community in Brazil for Metso and Uruguay for UPM, because they are the main countries that Metso and UPM they have operation in. For environmental responsibility, the most important thing and the only one thing I would like to tell you is the carbon dioxide emission and energy usage reduction. At Metso, within 4 years, they reduced 14% of emissions. And also at Finnair, they have considerable reductions through renewing their fleets, their airplanes. The number is almost the same in Alma Media, and interestingly enough, in UPM, the emissions has been on an increasing trend from 2008 until now. And something extra is that Metso has been included in several sustainable indexes. They are something like the certificates for Metso that they have been friendly to the environmental issues. So something about the communications of SIA. For external communication, the most important channel is the reports. All the case companies, they have reports. And also multimedia, the web pages. I strongly suggest you to take a look at the Finnair SIA page because it's very nice, very creative, very informative, and it's the best among the case company, in my opinion. For internal communication about SIA, all the case companies, they have staff training and SIA networking. They want to make sure that all the employees within their organizations understand and know about the SIA activities and SIA concept. Because, for example, if the salespersons, they go to another company, go to the customers, and the customer asks about something about the SIA activities of the company, the salespersons, they have to know the answers. Also, I also made some research on the Global Reporting Initiatives Reporting Guidelines Z3. That's a very trending guidelines nowadays. And I found out that Alma, Finnair, and Metso, they apply these guidelines. Finnvera, they have totally different and very odd way to report about SIA activities. Maybe because it's due to the fact they are the state-owned company, 100% controlled by the government. So they have different kind of activities. The situation changed dramatically at UPM. At the time I conducted the interviews, Miss Vasa, she said that UPM didn't use the guidelines, and she wouldn't see in the near future that UPM would use the guidelines for their reports. But the latest report from them applied these guidelines. I didn't have a chance to come back to Ms. Vasa, but that's the situation now. They also use the guidelines, so it's very trending. So for future perspectives, first of all, I come to the company's plans. They want to balance between the doing good and doing business. Also, they want to try the new ways to use SIA and new kinds of SIA activities, so that their SIA activities, their SIA portfolio would be more colorful and various. And the most important thing, as I say, that reducing as much emissions as possible. The company, they expect more cooperations and transparencies in Finland. They also expect that more companies apply SIA in Finland in the future. And they also expect from the government the support. Not money, not finance, not loans, but some non-monetary support, such as some legislations, regulations, or the successful SIA model, so that the company they can follow and apply in their own activities. The potential trends of applying SIA in the future is something I made by my own opinions, based on what I have read, what I have experienced. The first trend is environmental issues, so that's easy to understand because we are more and more care about environment nowadays. Also SIA reporting, I believe that in future, more and more companies in Finland, they will report about their SIA activities. The last trend is the political responsibility. As we all know, nowadays the international relation affairs is a little bit chaotic and complicated. So all the citizens have to have the political responsibility towards the situations. And because the companies, they are also the citizens of our society, so they also have to have the political responsibility. Suggestions are something from my opinion too. So I think more cooperation with the government. Within the interviews, I realized that companies, they tend not to like to cooperate much with the government. But I think if they cooperate with the government, they will have more resources, they will have more information, insights, so they will have the more effective activities. Also feasible plans. Feasible plans means that the plans that can be achieved. Because if the company fails to achieve the plan, their reputation will decrease very badly. So that's not something they want. Talk less than do is actually from one of the interviewing. She said that the company should talk about what they have done, less than what they have done. So like, okay, you just do whatever you can, but don't talk too much about that. It's very Finnish mentality, I guess. And be more transparent. And for the government, I think the government should have some support for the companies, as I told at the previous slide, and also advocate the CR activities in Finland. Conclusion, after I doing my thesis, I think that CR is very new, but it's very potential, and it has been used a lot worldwide. Also, Finland has been adopted and integrated CR into their daily business, and they have various activities, many different activities, and they achieved considerable results. There are some, of course, there are some problems and methods to maintain, but I think, in my opinion, I think that the Finnish companies are on the right track of applying CR in Finland. So I think CR has a very promising future in Finland. I would like to close my presentation with a statement from Ms. Kaisa Vailikka from UPM. She said, "We do what we say, and we say what we do." So it's something kind of Finnish mentality. The Finnish way of doing CR is very good, it's very positive. And that's why I think Finland is the best environment for CR activities to be nurtured and developed. So there's some references, but the most important thing is the 5 interviewees. Ms. Laura Kantanen from Finnair, Ms. Riikka Polka from Alma Media, Mr. Jukka Seppälä from Metso Group, Mrs. Virve Tulenhemo from Finnvera, and Ms. Kaisa Vailikka from Finland. Okay, thank you very much. That's all.